I wonder if Applejack would be a good replacement for Lou Diamond Phillips.
MasterCode court is now in session. Please let's get on with the trial and watch this episode.
Huh? Oh, right, Your Honor. Okay, so Bats, written by Megan McCarthy. Very generic title, but let's see how she—
Mr. Code, that was actually a typo. It's actually written by Meriwether Williams.
Arrgh! This is gonna hurt, isn't it?
It's Applebug season once again at Sweet Apple Acres, but a vampire bat horde has taken over, feasting on the apples in the orchards, and Applejack calls in the main six to help.
Hold it! We can't stop here. This is bat country.
Our first of a surprising number of callbacks to fruit bats from Apple Family Reunion. Though unfortunately we don't get to see them again, we do get to see these new vampire bats. Very cool and creepy. I like how the main six are willing to take a diplomatic approach by having Fluttershy persuade the bats out. Though we've seen before that Fluttershy can tame most animals on impulse with the Manticore or Cerberus, so what's so complex about vampire bats that makes our resident animal expert unable to understand them? Sounds like a contrived framing device. Applejack's prejudice towards the vampire bats and wanting them banished is also reasonable. She's got a prized apple she's been growing for an immeasurable amount of time, plus we've seen in the past that the bats nearly brought the farm to poverty. Fluttershy's counter to AJ also poses a reasonable solution, dedicating a portion of the farm to the bats, losing a small sector, but allowing the rest of the farm to flourish, and using the bats' natural habits of spreading seeds to help grow Sweet Apple Acres is a logical way to go. So far, things are going pretty good for this episode. Oh wait, this is a Meriwether Williams episode. Something tells me this is gonna go bad really quick. We then come to our song where Applejack and Fluttershy duet on their views on the bats, and AJ is successful in rallying the rest of the main six to her cause.
Objection!
Gang up on Fluttershy! The duet between Fluttershy and AJ works because they are the two centered around the central conflict. However, the rest of the main six joining AJ just doesn't make any sense and just seems out of place. Rarity I can understand, because she thinks that bats are gross. But beyond her, Rainbow, Twilight, and Pinkie Pie have no direct quarrel with the bats, and them instantly turning on Fluttershy feels like a forced way to hammer in the peer pressure moral at the end. Rainbow doesn't come to the cider shortage conclusion until after the song, so I guess our element of loyalty only goes so far in certain situations. And you'd think Twilight, the princess, would favor Fluttershy more, take the more diplomatic route as well. Nope, she has declared war. As for the song itself, it's not bad, but the stilted lyrics don't flow with the music. Very reminiscent of a Danny Elfman score. Though overall, the imagery and the score was a great cohesion. Fluttershy agrees to use her stare on the bats, while Twilight uses a spell to stop them.
Hold it!
In a callback to Swarm of the Century, it's interesting to see Twilight using a similar spell to stop the bats, like the Paraspites, by forcibly altering their food choices. Though wouldn't this spell be technically under dark magic territory? Similar to the magic Twilight was going to use in Keep Calm and Flutter On, this does raise some interesting and ethical questions about mind manipulation, with such spells being accessible to the public library. Literature anyone can check out, learn, and could possibly use for malicious intent seems like you're just asking for trouble. Once again, OSHA must not exist in Equestria. Twilight successfully thwarts the bats' love of apples. However, the next morning, apples are still drained, so they plan a stakeout and discover it is actually Fluttershy who's responsible.
Hold it! Does every pony have their pony signal?
Oh my god.
It's so cute! Can I keep it? Can I keep it?
Also, I had no idea that Twilight was a user. Though I like the creepy imagery and the antics that go on here, it does drag on a little too long. Also, I don't know why, but I really like this line.
Please come down and do stop being a vampire bat.
Have you tried not being a mutant?
Yes, Fluttershy, if it's not too much trouble, could you please stop being a wicked spawn of the Dark One, if you please? The main six capture Fluttershy and cure her, possessing no memory of the ordeal. And we conclude with AJ dedicating a plot of land to the bats, and end with the Flutterbat teaser.
Hold it!
Another cliffhanger. It seems to be happening a lot this season. Hopefully there is a decent payoff to all these and not just a one-time deal. This does raise some interesting questions about Fluttershy now. Does she still retain the full vampire bat genes? This could be a really cool future concept where she could utilize her Flutterbat identity in a battle, raining down screeching death. Epic. So after all this, I wonder why AJ was okay with the fruit bats in her orchard. Do they not eat apples, or do they only eat the types of fruit that they are? That seemed very odd to me. My overall impression of the episode, honestly though, there were good elements like Flutterbat, creature world building, and Fluttershy and AJ working off each other, something we haven't seen much of up to this point. This episode really didn't leave an impression on me. I like the peer pressure moral, that was handled okay, but I think how the main six acted in the beginning with joining AJ so rashly is what threw me off this episode, going from one single attempt at diplomacy to
Die, Devil Bird!
I've seen worse than Meriwether Williams, but she did better than usual. It was an okay episode. I think that wraps things up, Your Honor.
Good, because this episode was driving me batty.
Judge, I do believe that joke deserves an...
Objection!